I got put piece here. What is atheism? Atheism. A lot of people think it's something to do with Satan and all that, and they also, as a matter of fact, had a retard that said that was a psychosis. Don't understand the meaning. We are evolved, mutated primates. We're a product of sperm and egg collision. It's been going on for billions of years. But atheism is lacking belief. No belief at all. It's like when you buy a computer, it's not programmed whatsoever. We are all born atheist, lacking belief. And science is a compilation of collective knowledge backed up with evidence and experimentation. So a true science is an atheist. He cannot believe in imaginary friends and irrational concepts and be considered a scientist. When a person is lazy and he works on a problem and reads a book for a long time, considering himself a scientist, and does a lot of research, and all of a sudden is throws his hands up in the air and says, I don't understand this, that's when the God delusion comes in. Ah, God did it.
This bird looks ready for roasting. With
people that believe in God and nonsense like that.
Genetic was naturally bred from what's called a scaleless mutation.
Yeah, we can manipulate the genes. There are mutations.
So this scientist is atheist, mentally healthy. He's a God. He created a chicken like this with science, collective knowledge. He didn't pray that, that the chicken was hatched like that. No. And of course it proves evolution.
Birthing process. Fertilized egg of all genetic material. Next, they implant the egg with another animal's DNA. Once the man-made egg starts developing, they insert it into a surrogate animal. They defy the rules of natural selection and push the first genetically altered pet store animal. By day, they look like normal zebrafish, but in the dark, they're a shimmering show surrounding the controversial craze.
The state of California, but it's not for sale in California.
Yeah, Christian retards.
Ethical decision that was based on the fact
that Christian retards that keep stagnating intellect.
Genetic engineering, just to
That's
produce.
what the christ-psychotic retards keep doing, stagnated intellect. In Texas, Governor Perry is a christ-psychotic, and he wants to creationism, which is a delusion, nonsense. To be taught in schools. See the nonsense? Religious belief stagnate the intellect. They are a retardation. These people are schizophrenics and they ought to be helped. Because they should be treated like people suffering from depression or temporal lobe epileptic or any other disorders of the mind. They believe in imaginary friends that resurrect and save with blood. So, to the mental institutions with them and help them cure. They shouldn't be in public office.
Boston, Massachusetts. At first glance, it seems impossible. Yet, like something out of science fiction, this animal may actually become a trailblazing.
Come on, learn, Christians.
American scientist back of a mouse.
Learn.
The ethics
christ-psychotics. There is no God.
This is
we are the true God.
The animal.
We are the.
So, believing God, we are the only primate and animal that has this cognition, which makes us truly insane, believing that we are not the apes who we are, that we're something superior. No, we are like any other animal, except that we are crazy because we create God with our brains to appease our senses. And so that's what the idea of God comes from. Now, in essence, if we define God, an entity that creates things, that is intelligent, hey, we are the gods. We are God. We create imagination, we create all kinds of things, and then we make them into reality, aided by science. We can manipulate organisms. Yeah. Just go and pray to any any of the gods are. There are as many gods as you can see, many religions in the whole planet as the brain can imagine. Christians come around and they prostrate themselves and perform fellatio, you know, doing all that. And the Muslims put themselves in all fours. They wanted to receive penis Christ, and they don't realize that that's what they're doing. Just like animals and monkeys do that. They copulate on all fours. That's the way the primates mount the female and others, is by sticking their butt up in the air. That's what they do. But see, they don't realize that that we actually are the true gods. We manipulate genes, we do all kind of things in the laboratory, and we can create life. We do, thanks to the genome, DNA that proves evolution. And we have this virus going on now, which proves evolution. The viruses mutate. Everything changes and evolves. And we fight them all the time. Thanks to science. You know why we have this swine virus now? Because of the retarded believers in God Christians. For 1700 years, these deluded folks against science have been stagnating the intellect. They burned scientists, they burned books. Even 200 years ago, they didn't realize what gravity was. They believed that the Mother Earth wanted to have attracted everybody. So they're responsible for this. We would have completely got rid of all these viruses and everything like that by using science. If we didn't have christ-psychosis and believing God, absolutely delirium and nonsense that is stagnating the intellect. So they're responsible for the problems we have today. We would have been in the moon 1,000 years ago, over 1,000 years ago, if it wasn't for the retarded running around in control of countries. Fortunately, we have Obama. He always mentions the word backed up by science.
This is science. Instead of going to church on Sundays, you should have learned something like this. At least 1 hour every Sunday. At least 1 hour every Sunday.
It goes straight through into Harry's brain. It was a new experience to me, getting this old stainless steel heavy drill and actually having to go slowly through someone's skull was certainly an experience.
This technique is called trepanation of the cranium. It was used by the Aztecs 2000. Used by the Aztecs 2000. The people in the Philippines.
Heavenly Father, we thank you.
Heavenly Father, really?
We thank you that even before the
which one?
of the world, you knew that each one of us would exist. And at the cross, Jesus, you died for us.
Imagine that if he dies? Who died for me? If he dies? Who died for me?
Sorry, religious psychotics. The brain are us. We create God with the brain. It is a fact. You can change your thinking by chemicals and also by
capture information exchanged by thousands of cells. Started work with a chip that had just 8 transistors. 8 transistors.
All of this prove God doesn't exist. It's a product of our brain. It's irrelevant. It's a delusion, it's a psychosis. Not needed in the 21st century.
3 years we will.
Remains the most complex structure on Earth.
It is. It is. The universe is within.
Advanced computers today can't even simulate the nervous system of a fly.
Yeah, Christianity established slavery, by the way, and racism and pedophilia Dial the number. You will win $1 million. $1 million. Jesus, yes, Jesus will do it. Tooth Fairy too, and win it. Tooth Fairy too,
and win it.
Please
repent. I am the true Christ. I can see your future with this crystal ball. Give me money. Send me money. I'm the true Messiah. Yeah, my brain can create a new religion too. The man with 3 eyes that predict the future, better than Christians. The brain creates God and creates all kind of thoughts and the mind. When it malfunctions, it cannot tell between fantasy and reality, and this is what happened to religious psychotics. Tell me one thing, all religious people, do we pick up thoughts from God, do the brain like a radio, or do we create God with our brains? What is it? Answer that.